Привет, привет. Сегодня будет прикольный колл. Я впервые буду проводить на английском, но это будет интересно. В английский жесть, конечно, но я надеюсь, что я все пойму. Сейчас жду девочку. Гэби, Нью-Джерси. Oh yeah. Hi, you need to push some button like join or something like that with a plus. Yeah. How does it work? Sorry, I don't know why I can push the button. Can you resend one more time? Yeah, it works! Hi!
Thank you. This is actually my first time using live ever.
Oh, congratulations!
Thank you.
I'm kind of person who like pull my friends or pull unfamiliar people to the first live stream because you're the second one or maybe third one, yes, who told me, oh my god, it's my first live stream.
Oh wow.
Yes, and I'm sitting in earphones, but it doesn't connect it to my phone, so it's always my mistake. Can you hear me well?
Yeah, I can hear you perfect. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear and see you. I'm so excited to speaking with you. First of all, because I've been on one of your lessons and it was terrible. I didn't use English a long time and I was like in this group where girls and boys were so active telling about everything. I was so silly, I don't know, and now I see you here.
You did great. You did great. I mean, that's really normal. If you don't use language in a long time, you forget a lot of things. I totally understand that. I learned French like I've been studying French for most of my life actually, but when I go like a long time without using it, it's bad.
Yes, I remember your story. I know that you even have been learning in France, exactly.
Yes, yes.
Yes, I remember that. Oh my God. Well, how are you doing actually?
I'm doing good. I'm a little bit nervous because I've never done this before, but I'm doing good. How about you?
Nervous as well because it's like live stream and English, so double nervous. But
don't worry about the English part, at least.
yeah. So yes, I'm totally excited, and actually, I follow you sometime since actually I've been on your lesson. It was by Meetup, I guess, the source, something like that. And yes, I was watching your YouTube, I'm watching your videos on Instagram, and I've seen the video with how do you make the interview directly? You have a call with the recruiter, and of course it's a bit trigger me because I'm a recruiter, and it's like in US. Oh my god, how does it work? So I was very curious about that. But first of all, I'm working in a regular company, And I know that you are on freelance and you like work by yourself for a long time.
Mm.
And I'm curious actually, why, how does it start? I don't know, that you have decided I will work by myself. Did you have any works before that, or how?
Well, yeah, it's always something I wanted to do, but I was always working, so I never really made time to explore what being an entrepreneur looks like. But during COVID is where everything kind of changed for me, because I was actually working as an instructor at a university,
Mm.
but after COVID, the university cut like over 75% of the instructors
Oh my God,
at
I
our,
got.
so I didn't have a job. And I thought, okay, well, now is a time for me to kind of try this. So I just started teaching online. And at first, I used some, like, I'm not sure what you would call them, but I guess apps, like tutoring
Yeah.
apps, find
Mm.
some students. But I didn't really like them so much. So I just kind of decided to do my own thing. And I've been doing that for like about a year and a half now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Quite
Not
long.
that long.
Yes, and oh, I see. So you, okay, well, but sometimes you're like on freelance, you're faced with, for example, it doesn't work, or what should I do? Maybe better to find another work or something like that. How do you go through all that problems which you faced?
It can be quite challenging, and every day is a little bit different. Because some days you can feel really optimistic and excited, and then other days it's like, well, this isn't working, and I don't know, maybe I can just go get a regular job like everybody else. But
Mhm.
I don't know. I try to remind myself, like, when I feel bad or I feel like I'm not doing the right thing, I like to look at the reviews that my students have left me, because that reminds me why I'm
Mhm.
doing what I'm doing. Because it can be quite hard not to have, there's not a lot of security or
Yes.
predictability in entrepreneur, and that can be quite difficult. So in order to keep going, I just remind myself why I started.
Oh, I see. And why did you start it? What was the main reason? I mean, not just because you quit the job or you're, why exactly you have decided that I would like to do it by my own.
Yeah, well, I mean, I have worked in an office before. I have been a teacher for most of my career, but I had worked in an office, and even working in a university, I feel like there are a lot of restrictions,
Uh-huh.
and not always able to, like, I never felt like I was using all of my abilities or all of my potential, because I always had to kind of listen to what
Mm-hmm. You have a
bosses.
program.
Exactly. You don't have a lot of creative freedom. So I had a lot of ideas. I still have a lot of ideas, and I wanted to at least try and explore those
Mhm.
ideas, see if my students could benefit from the ideas that I had. So that's really why I remind myself that, yes, there's not a lot of stability, but on the flip side, there's a lot of freedom and
Mhm.
creativity that you have. And I try to remind myself that my students are benefiting from that decision that I made.
Cool. So actually, you're thinking about your students more, what you can give for them, than like what you will get, because you wanted to get more for your students. It was like something like that.
Yeah, yeah. My students, the people that I help are extremely the whole reason I do this job is because I love the people that I work with, and I know that English is a necessary skill for most people around the world these days,
Yeah.
and I'm very lucky to have been born a native English speaker. So I really like helping people to, just improve their either their career or their life, and it's very, very rewarding for me.
Wow, I see. I got it. Now I think I have a point because I'm actually would like to also to start something by my own, but I have a problem. I really can understand what I would like, and for like you know that what you can give for your students, and you have this. I don't know, power, something like that. But I can understand exactly. I'm trying this or that, and I'm kind of a bit lost, and maybe from one side I'm scared that I quit my job and oh my god, what I'm gonna do, and this side, what I'm gonna do, I still don't know what I'm gonna do, and. Yeah, so I think I may be on that stage. I'm not so inspired. What can I do? What can I give? And maybe I stuck on this like border. I don't know. That's why maybe one of the reason I just understand that why I can't. I can move on and I just hold my job and I'm so scary. I'm so scared. I don't know.
I will tell you that I think on the surface, it looks like a lot of entrepreneurs know exactly what they want and exactly what they're doing, but that's really not true. I mean, I have experimented, so far I have experimented with a lot of different things, and sometimes
Really?
I like, sometimes I don't. And it's just it's a growing process. So I don't think not knowing 100% is it. You can start even if you don't know 100%. Even if you just have a few ideas, you definitely can get started, because actually you're in a good place. It's better to have too many ideas than no ideas.
Uh-huh. I see. Wow.
Mm.
Cool. Uh, yes, that's cool. Awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Because usually, yes, when you're speaking with because for me, you're a successful entrepreneur. I see you exactly like English teacher. I see what I'm doing. I see all your ideas, how you're making these presentations so cool with these different things. So you are exactly. I see your part in this all presentations with all this stuff for lessons and usually you see people, I see people like you who is already know what they're doing, and it's everything so beautiful and so cool, and I don't know how I can do something so beautiful, and yes, and it's quite hard to start because you were like a mess in your head. So yeah.
I still feel the same way when I look at other teachers or other entrepreneurs on Instagram. I'm not really sure if that goes away. I think like throughout your whole career, you always feel like, oh, well, this person looks like they know exactly what they're doing and everything looks so beautiful and clean. I feel like I'm just playing or struggling to figure
Yeah,
something.
playing, yes, right.
I still feel like that, and I will tell you, I don't have everything about my business figured out. One of the biggest things when you start a business is everybody tells you, and I'm sure you've heard this expression before, like to find your niche. I
Uh-huh.
hate that. I hate that because I even they'll tell you like, oh, teaching English is not specific enough. You have to be more specific than that. Like, do you want to do conversation? And what kind of conversation? You have to be as specific as possible. I'm still trying to figure that out. I really don't
Uh-huh.
know. I'm just playing with different things. So if you follow me on Instagram, I'm sure you will see some things sometimes that were like, oh, I didn't know she did that. But I'm
Yeah.
trying. So I think it's totally fine not to have it 100%. In fact, if you start it and you learn, okay, I don't really like this, maybe I should try something else. Starting helps you to eliminate things
Mm-hmm.
faster.
Oh, I see.
Mm-hmm.
Because yes, your niche, even as an English teacher, a lot of everywhere English teacher have to find client exactly for me. So yes, that's why I was so interested. How did you make this step? Yes,
it's
was
hard. There are millions of English teachers on the internet. So you definitely have to try to do something unique, or at least something that reflects your personality.
Super. Well, I have one more questions I have for you. You already mentioned, so viewer is entrepreneur around a year and a half, actually since the COVID year.
That's right. Yep.
The situation. Super. What about the whole situation in US? I mean, do you know a lot of friends, for example, who was working before COVID time in the office, and right now all of them, and I don't know, maybe most part of them became entrepreneur, something like that?
I don't know. I don't know many people who became entrepreneurs, but I do know many people who became, so we call it here, we call it gig work, which means, yeah. So like Uber, Uber Eats, like these types of apps. I know a lot of people started doing these things either in addition to the work that they had, or completely replaced the old work that they had. And I think in my experience, this is a lot more common in the United States than just becoming an entrepreneur and doing it all by yourself, because the apps really, they do a lot for you. They do your marketing, they do clients. So it's a lot easier to start with an app than it is to just decide, I'm gonna do this 100% by myself.
Oh, really? Because for me, it's like the person need to download it, find this app, download this app. So it's long away. Then I just open the website or open your YouTube channel or Instagram and find your website, just click and I'm here. So for me, app is more not so easy, I would say. More harder, yes.
Yeah, I guess I agree with you to an extent. I think it also depends on maybe what your job is. So like as a teacher, if I join an app, there's a lot more competition, a lot.
I see.
If you're a driver, it might be a good, because I don't really know how else people find drivers other than by going on Uber.
Yeah, I agree.
So for them, that it makes sense, but it just depends, I think, on what you're trying to do or what your goal is.
But you speak about your application. So do you think you make by your own something, or you have, I don't know, some application where different teachers like Uber?
Yeah, that's how I started. I started because I had no idea what to do by myself. So I didn't really know, like, okay, I could start an Instagram, but I don't really know what to put on my Instagram. So what I did was I just started with these apps, and then I started just researching other English teachers and what they were, how they did it. And so I kind of over time, I kind of stole my students from the apps. It's my private business, but it's a good way to start, I think, because it gives you a little bit of stability that you might not know how to get on your own in the beginning. It's a good middle ground.
I see. Cool. Got it. So anyway, a lot of people, because in Ukraine we have, I think, quite different situation. In Ukraine, for example, now their highest salary in IT market. Everybody needs IT specialist, and they have, I guess, really the highest salary. And so what I wanted to say, I forgot my idea.
Okay.
Yes, about that, for example, you mentioned that in USA a lot of people start to have some additional job, something by themselves, their own. In Ukraine, everybody, most of people trying to get to IT, or something connected to their social media like Instagram, Facebook, and so on, because it's the highest salary here. And but not a lot of people like have something in addition. So you are here, or you are entrepreneur, or that's why like another point that you can, for example, save your job, but it's usually part-time job, because I think it's quite hard to have something addition and the main job for full-time.
Yeah, usually I would say most people do the additional work part-time. Like they can do it on the weekend when they have time off from work or after they finish work. It's very flexible, which is why those apps I think are so nice for so many people, because you can kind of choose when you want to be working. But and it's also, I think it's difficult to make a full-time salary with some of those apps. So it's better than part-time.
Do you have some of your favorite, I don't know, apps? What do you use, or something? What comes new and you say, yes, that's really cool?
You mean like an app for work, or just any app?
No. I mean for your regular life, which.
Well, I'm really guilty of using Instagram a lot. I use Instagram a lot. Aside from Instagram, I mean, there's a few I like to learn languages, so there are a couple of language learning apps that I like a lot. One of them is called Hi Native, which is really cool because you can like record your voice and a native speaker will tell you how your pronunciation is, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But other than that, no, not really.
I see. Okay, because I was thinking maybe some I don't know, some idea that you know, or maybe something on the high demand in the US after COVID time. I mean, for example, delivery. It's not, right now we have the everywhere delivery.
Yeah, that's very popular here as well. Like I think Uber Eats is very.
I got it. Anything else? Something like really become on the top?
I think there were a lot of. There's one that's called Instacart here. I don't know if you have that in the Ukraine, but it really started to get popular after COVID, or during COVID rather. It's like you can apply to be a personal grocery shopper for someone. So it's like if you use the app, you can get your groceries delivered to you. You can pick whatever stores, actually anything delivered to you, and somebody will go and pick that stuff up and bring it to you. So you really have to go out anywhere if you don't want to.
So it's not, you mean like logistic company? For example, from the supermarket, I can order directly in the supermarket some food and they deliver to me. You mean it's another person? For example, I can create my own account, like I can do this job, something like that?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So it maybe like, let's say you want things from different stores, not just one store. You can kind of pick like a whole list from a whole list of places, or you just make.
We have, it's kind of Glovo. You don't have the same delivery? Because
what is it called?
Glovo.
I don't think so. That before.
I was thinking it's from USA. Okay. I don't know where is it from.
It could be, and maybe I'm just not familiar with it.
Okay. Because here it's very popular. Because before Uber Eats, it's not so popular here. And actually, right now, almost, I guess actually 100% all of Texas all of Texas do delivery. Any food from cafes, they just add this option to their service. Really, all of Texas, and yes, and we have regular delivery. Like you have the app exactly for delivery, and that service, as you said, you can pick up different packages in different places from I don't know, shop, post, wherever. something like
Mm-hmm.
that. But
Yeah.
we can, for example, I can't, for example, put my oh my god, how does it say? So I can take this job because I need to be. Oh, actually, maybe I can. Interesting idea because I was thinking for this delivery, it's like, for example, if I have a car or if I have a bike, because people do delivery even by bike or by walk, I don't know. And so, yes, you can make like your own, create your own account. And if I make an order, for example, I can pick it up if I have time or something like that.
Yeah, it sounds very similar to the other app. And it's flexible because you might be around an area with a lot of stores. So if somebody needs something picked up, you can make a few dollars
Yeah,
pretty easily.
yeah, I see. Interesting. Yeah, I agree. And what I wanted to say more, because I even don't want to come to the recruiter part because I'm so interested about your life. And
Go ahead, you can ask me anything. Really, I have time. So anything you.
Super, thank you. And as far as I remember, you came to US from Canada, or maybe a mistake?
No, I was born in the US.
You.
I was born in New York,
And why did you move to New Jersey?
Well, I moved here when I didn't really have a choice because I was with my family when we moved. I was about 7 years old when we moved to New Jersey. But it's nice. New Jersey is nice. It's kind of a good mix of city and country. So it's the best of both worlds.
Oh, I see. Have you ever, no, first questions about the university. Did you finish it here or in some other place?
I finished it in the US. I went to Rutgers.
No, in New Jersey exactly, or in some other state?
No, in New Jersey. In New Jersey, I finished it. I went to Rutgers University. I don't know if you're familiar with Rutgers University, but it's the State University of New Jersey.
I see. And have you ever thought to move in some other place? In US, I mean.
Well, actually, I lived really briefly in Hawaii because yeah, my boyfriend moved there for work a couple years ago, and so we're in a long distance relationship right now. He's still living in Hawaii, so I've spent like a couple months at a time living out there. But he's going to be moving back to New York in 2022.
Oh my God. You don't like Hawaii, or why did you back to New Jersey?
Well, Hawaii is really nice, but I think it's better to be a tourist there than it is to live there. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One reason is the area where my boyfriend lives is very, there's no city around at all. It's quiet, and there's like one road on the whole island. So it's
I see.
It's very difficult to get around, and for me personally, there was no university on the island that he lived on, so I had a really hard time. I mean, now I can do my work remotely, so it wouldn't be a problem. But at that, I really couldn't find any jobs other than like working in a coffee shop, which is okay, but it's not something I want to do for
on a regular basis. I'm totally support you because I can't live without city. I need these all communications or something like that because it's quite hard.
Exactly. So for me, it was really difficult couple of months. I mean, the first couple of weeks are great. It's very relaxing. But after that, it's hard. It's very hard to live there if you're used to living in a city, especially.
Yes, and yes, you speak about the city. Would you like to live in some other city?
Yeah, I mean, I love cities. I love cities. I'm not so sure if I would pick the United States for my next place to live. I actually am looking at doing a teaching program in Tokyo.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, yes.
Wow.
I've visited Tokyo before. I love Japan. Japan is
Oh.
a country if you ever get the opportunity to visit. Um,
Yeah, I was thinking about that before COVID time, but it was quite from Ukraine. To come to Tokyo, we need a visa and some package of documents, and the flight was more expensive because I was choosing between Brazil and Tokyo, and Brazil was there more comfortable for me, and that's why I visited Brazil and Peru with my husband, and that was not a
that's
terrible story,
awesome.
but was a story. Huh?
Did you like that? That's awesome. I want to go to both those places very badly.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely should, because first of all, I wanted to go to Peru because of Machu Picchu. I don't know, yeah, you've heard. It's a really amazing place, and especially like we are city girls, it's like totally different. You feel this different vibes, you know, and yes, that was really awesome. So definitely advice. And yes, I want to visit Tokyo, and I admire of mountains. I would like go to, you know, they have a big mountain,
Yeah,
Fujiyama or
yeah,
something like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So
awesome.
yeah.
Definitely go. That the biggest problem is that it's far away from most places, so the flight
Yeah.
would be very expensive. But I think there are certain times of year where it's cheaper to travel there. Like I when I went there, it was in February, and
Mm.
it was colder, but it was cheaper to travel there.
Yeah.
So it's a good time to go to Japan if you want to visit.
Yeah. Wow. Sounds like, how long have you been there?
I was there for about 2 weeks. I went on vacation for about 2 weeks, and I tried to explore as many cities as I could while I was there. But Japan feels like the type of country where you could spend years in and see everything.
I see. Have you ever living somewhere? I mean, like longer than a month in some other city or in some other country?
Yeah, I lived in France for,
Mhm.
well, I lived in France two separate times. Once I studied there, and I was there for about almost a year the first time when I
Oh,
studied for almost a year. And when I worked there, I was there for about, I wouldn't say a year and a half.
mhm.
And when I studied there, I was in the south of France in a
Uh-huh.
town called Aix-en-Provence. I'm not
Uh-huh.
sure if you're familiar with it, but and then
Yes, yes, I've never heard.
it's a very lovely place. And then when I worked there,
Tell me the name. Tell me the name.
it's called Aix-en-Provence. I can type it if you want here.
Yes, please. I-
Aix-en-Provence.
Oh, by the way, you pronounce so. Oh my God, I would write definitely in another way.
And
Uh,
the other place I lived when I was working was in Marseille, which
oh
is
yes, I
oh,
heard.
yeah. And
Cool. Oh wow, awesome pictures. And what I wanted to say about France, because I've been in France maybe twice, and I so much love their language, their pronunciation, and since 1st of December I will start learning French. Oh my God.
what? Wow, are you taking like an online class or in-person
Yeah,
classes?
online. Yes, it's online classes. Yeah.
Good, great. It's a very beautiful language.
Yeah, but I think it's so hard because English much easier, even, but for me it's even harder. But French,
I think you might be okay with French because I think some of the sounds are kind of similar to like Russian, Polish, Ukrainian. Some of the sounds are similar. The pronunciation is probably the hardest part about French, but
Yeah.
I think your grammar is more complicated than French grammar is.
Yes, but you know, it's when like for you, US is native, and it's very easy because it's your native language. But in France, they have yes similar I don't know what's in English. When you can say, for example, he, she, and you have
pronouns.
Pronoun. Oh, yeah, pronouns. Yes, and after pronouns, when you use a verb, like they have a lot, like in Russian, we have a lot different, depends on situation, depends on everything. But in English, it's easy. It's two ways, for example, and that's all.
That's true. My best friend studies Russian, and that's the hardest part for him is the changes that no matter what you're talking about, you have to make a change.
Yes, you always have to make a change, and it's the craziest really part because I was trying to study German and they have the same thing and I couldn't understand how do they do it. We don't use it, but then oh my god, yes, we use it also, and you just don't understand it.
If you want to actually Asian languages are really great for that because there's usually only one. Like I've used, and it's whether you use he, she, we, it, they, always the same. The verb is always the same. It doesn't change.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I think they only have like 4 tenses in general, like past, present, and future. No, the future and the present are the same tense in Japanese.
Really? Oh my god, I need to start to learn Japanese. Have you learned or just heard some?
I've been trying to learn on my own, but it's very difficult to study a language by yourself without a program.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know. Have you tried studying French on your own, like without a program?
No, it was just like learn a few words when we were going to the Paris, just to say like bonjour, bonsoir, or something like that. Nothing more, just to be polite. I wanted to say about US. I mean about studying system. So because when I'm watching it in the movies, I really can understand. So how many classes do you have, for example, in their first school, second school, and college? It's also school, and it calls school also, yes?
Yeah, all of them are school. They're all called school, but we do have different names for them. Like, so for example, I think when you're maybe between 5 and 10, maybe 10. I'm not. It's been a long time. So 5 and 10, you go to elementary school, and there's usually about 5 different classes. So each year, it's like year 1, year 2, year 3, year 5, and then after that, you go to middle school, which is like year 7, year 8, year 9. And
sorry, how does it call? What's the name of that school?
Middle school.
Middle.
Yeah. In the middle, it's in the middle of elementary, and then after middle, you go to high school.
And high school, it's what ages usually?
I think it's about 14 to around 17 or 18 years old. It depends on when you're born, because the calendar sometimes people graduate when they're 18, and sometimes people graduate.
Oh yes, I know. I mean in total, so it's 4 years in high school or around 3 years in high school. How many classes you have?
I would say in general, the problem with the United States is that we don't have like a centralized or standardized education system, so it can be different state or even town to town.
Really?
In general, most high schools have 4 classes.
I see.
there'll be 3, sometimes even 5, but in general, I would say the general rule is 4.
I got it. And then after school, so for example, you are studying in a high school, and what's your next step? What are you doing?
Most people would go to university after school. So, and that's usually about another 4 years of studying.
You get the bachelor degree during the 4 years, yeah?
Yes, that's correct. Yes. Sometimes people will go for an associate's degree, which is 2 years, but I think that's becoming a lot less, it's becoming a lot less common because most jobs require at least a bachelor's degree in the United States.
I see. And how, yes, after high school, for example, you need to pass some exams in school and then at university, or if you pass exam, for example, at school, you can use them at university, or how does it work?
Well, that's a great question. So most of the time before you graduate, you have to take some kind of state exam, usually that shows that you have learned everything that you need to learn
we have similar, the same.
And then if you want to apply to university, usually you would take the SATs.
I see. No, we don't have this. Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I can hear you.
So anyway, we are, well, each university has own exams, or you pass one and...
No, it's thankfully that's not how it works. There's only one exam. It's usually the SATs, I would say, but most or almost all of the universities in the United States use the SATs. So you take the SAT, and then the school can decide based on your scores if you, what we call, place out of classes. That means that they can decide whether you have enough information, then you don't have to take some of the at university. But a lot of students try to do that to pass or get a certain level on the SATs, because college is so expensive in the United States that you save money, a lot of money, if you don't have to take that class at university.
I see. And yes, actually, in most of college and universities, you have on a very small amount for like budget place, and most of places you should pay on contract base.
Yeah, exactly. For university work, yes, it's almost always contract based for university work.
What about college?
It's the same.
I see.
We kind of I would say that there's not, like, there used to be a difference between the word college and university. There isn't anymore. They mean the
I see. I got it now. And you speak about their university, so it doesn't matter their profession, what you choose. I mean, is it a lawyer or not a doctor? Yes, they have definitely specific education, like, I don't know, a lawyer or English teacher, for example, or a teacher, just a teacher. So you have 4 years to bachelor degree, right? It doesn't matter their profession. I mean.
No, it doesn't. It always matter. So you don't have to, like, I would say it's just an average. In general, most people finish in 4 years, but you can take longer than that, or you can take less than that, depending on how many courses you decide to sign up for each semester.
How does it work?
So I think, like, on average, you need what they call credits. Like, I think you need 120 credits to graduate from university with a degree, and a certain amount in your specialty. Like, let's say you need 100 credits to graduate with a degree in X in whatever.
Uh-huh.
So, and you will take courses, and a lot of courses are about 3 to 4 credits for one semester.
Uh-huh.
So, on general, to be considered a full-time student, you take about 16 credits per semester. So about 4 classes. But some people choose to take more than that if they have room for it in their schedule, and some people take less than that if they're working or they're doing something else in addition to being in school. So it really depends. Like, you can finish in as early as 3 years. I think 3 years is probably the earliest you could finish a bachelor's degree. And some people finish in like 6 or 7 years. So it's
wow.
Yeah. It's very
interesting. Oh, well, I can understand then how the lessons, I mean, I can understand the schedule, because, for example, in our education, we have exactly for example, it's at university, 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd and 4th grade. It's a bachelor's degree for any profession. And on each semester, on each grade, they have the schedule. For example, first grade, first semester, they have a schedule of lessons day by day, how many lessons they have, and a schedule of that lesson. And like, teacher understand the students will come at 2 p.m. tomorrow because he has a lesson. How does it work in US? If you, for example, all of you pick different subjects, and you can come to this today and tomorrow on another. What if nobody comes to this teacher today? I don't know. How does it work?
It's a little bit, yeah, I would say it's a little bit more disorganized than other countries, but in general, like, it's usually like you sign up for a class at the same time every week. So if you are going to enroll in a class, let's say you want to take English Literature 1, okay? You can get a list of, the school usually offers more than one class. So they might have one in the morning, they might have one at night, and they might have one in the afternoon. But you sign up for whichever one fits your schedule, and then the professor just assumes that you're going to come to class at that time. Yeah, so
you have to. So when you sign up, you mean that, for example, you are sending like information and confirms that I will go to, for example, every Monday at 10 a.m. to this class, or you can mix this Monday at 10 a.m., next Monday at afternoon, or you have to be at 10 a.m.
No, you have to pick one. You have to pick one. Yeah, because usually, sometimes, depending on the size of the university, the same professor might not teach the same time. So they might have one professor teaching the morning class and another professor class. So when you pick one, you have to stay with the one that you choose.
One more question here.
Yeah.
So for example, one teacher at 10, another at 12, for example, and but the subject one, just different teachers. What's the difference? Why you can't mix? Is another teacher will provide you like another lesson? I mean, both of them should have the similar program, no?
Yeah. I mean, in theory, yes, you're right. There's not a big difference in general. However, I think this is one of the unique things about education in the United States, is that, like I said before, there's a lot less standardization. So teachers have a lot more freedom in the classroom to kind of change the lessons as they want. Like, for example, when I worked in a university, they give you a textbook and they say, we want you to cover these things, but we don't care how you do it. So one teacher might have a very different style of teaching than another teacher, or they might cover in general, they cover mostly the same things, but some little things might be different.
Oh, I see. So yes, it makes sense go to one because he will follow their previous lessons and you like be always in the context.
Exactly. Exactly.
I see. Interesting. After university, for example, you're going to work and you apply in different jobs. How or even you as in your interviews, you exactly showing there how. Exactly showing your call with a recruiter, but how the process looks like you apply, for example, to the job, and how fast he should reply you, or you get usually automatic reply, or how does it work?
I think this is very dependent on what your field is. So I can really only speak for like writing or customer based jobs.
Yeah.
But in general, there's like the school sometimes has like a service where they list available jobs from companies. So you can either apply direct to the company or you can apply through the school.
That's cool. We don't have anything like that.
Usually, yeah, we have something. Most universities in the United States have something called career services. So they will help you prepare your resume. They will do like fake interviews with you to help you practice your interview.
That's amazing.
It is a
I
very
will do it. We need to implement in Ukraine. We don't have anything like that. And yes, it's very useful for a person when you don't know what's going on. What should I do?
yeah. I think it's a great service that universities provide in the United States. But usually you get some help from the career services and then you either apply online or directly through the company. I would say most of the time you get no response. They don't say yes, no, nothing. Sometimes maybe about like 25% of the time you'll get an automatic response that, oh, yes, we received your application. And usually either a week usually after a week or so, when you get that initial automated response, you'll get an actual response. So they'll either invite you for an interview or they'll say, no, thank you, we're not interested. And then after you get past that point, it goes pretty fast. So it go like I would think in general, if everything goes well and they accept you, it can take about up to a month, maximum a month.
Oh, I see.
So you'll get an interview, and then if they want to interview you for a second interview, it will probably be like a week later. But I will say that when they offer you, if they decide 100%, yes, you are the person that we want, they'll contact you pretty fast. So after the interview, it will probably be like a couple of hours, maybe at maximum a day.
Oh,
yeah,
I see.
Yeah,
they just don't want to lose the candidates. That's why they become faster.
Exactly. So the beginning can be quite slow, but then once it starts moving, it gets a little bit faster and faster and faster.
Depends on the first touch with their recruiter and candidate.
Yeah, exactly. So like in the interview that I did online, I just applied for that for fun because I have a lot of students ask me about the application process in English and like what kind of questions they ask you. So, I mean, you can find a lot of resources on that online, but I never found like a real interview online.
Yes, that's true. That was excited because you were showing like you exactly what she's asking, what are you replying, and how does it sound? Yeah, that's really awesome because usually it's like me, for example, and I'm explaining like you may have this and these questions, and that's all. But you showed the whole process, and did you? Yes, I remember you told that you were nervous a bit.
I was very nervous because I hadn't been on a real interview in a while before I had that interview. But it went pretty quickly, and they actually offered me the position at the end of the interview, which I wasn't expecting that. That was a complete surprise for me. But I think, I don't know what the interview process is like in other countries, but I know that American companies sometimes ask really complicated, tricky questions like that are not easy to
it depends, as you said. Here, it depends on the position, really, and depends on expectations of the owner or from HR, because yes, depends what they need, and they make the questions what they would like to check based on that question. So sometimes, yes, it can be tricky, but most of interview usually just regular. Like yours, it was normal questions, so nothing special or strange. I see.
But I prepared a little bit before that interview, so I knew some general things that they might ask me. So I had like a list in front of me of ideas, but it's kind of hard to fully prepare for an American style interview, because sometimes the interviews are quite standard, like you mentioned, and then other they can ask you some really, really weird questions. So it kind of have to be prepared for that.
Yes, I agree. Actually, preparing to the interview, it's a good point in any case, because yeah, if you really would like to get the job. Because sometimes I face with candidates, like I'm working actually in IT. I'm working right now only with IT candidates, and one candidate can have, I don't know, 10, 15 interviews during the week. And I'm just asking, hi, do you remember I was sending you their position? No, I remember nothing. Please tell me what we are talking about. Yeah, really. That's normal situation. They absolutely don't know the name of the company, the position, the details of the position, just nothing. Like nothing.
Wow.
Really.
That's very surprising.
Yeah.
Prepare when you prepare to do interviews in the US, they always tell you, like, something about the company for one, so that you can say something in your interview about the company that's specific, and like ask questions to the recruiter as well. Like when the recruiter says, "Do you have any questions?" you should always have a question to ask.
Right. This one, no, just okay, tell me about your position, and they don't have any questions, any information about the company. And today was a candidate. I'm working with different projects, and on our one project we have 2 stages of the interview, and one takes around 1.5 hours. And the second one around 2 hours, because they really do coding to check how they coding. And he told me, no, it takes too long. I won't do that. Say, okay.
Wow.
So yes, surprisingly. Oh, and one more question, because in Ukraine it's like prohibited to call the candidates if you didn't schedule their call with him. In the US, the same situation. For example, I should text only by mail or by LinkedIn, and I can't call him or text him until he confirmed his time for the call or something like that.
I'm not sure. I don't know 100%, but I've never heard of that before. Like, it sounds, I don't think that that's a law here. But I could be wrong. So
yes, I know for sure. But you, for this formal like speaking a conversation, you usually, most of US, I thought that you usually use email, prefer email.
Yeah. A lot of the times it's via email. Sometimes there will be a phone call, but 90% of the communication is through email. Yeah. Like when I finished the first round of my interview, they sent me a task. Like I had another task where I had to, since it was a customer service position, like writing a lot of emails, they had me correct the grammar in an email, and one they had me write a response to a fake email just to check on my writing skills. But again, that like your company checks that they can code.
Yeah.
It depends on the field. So I'm not sure what other jobs require, but the job that I applied for in that interview required like a writing task.
Yeah, for sure. It depends on the needs of company and yes, of the position for sure. Because for secretary, it definitely doesn't take 2 stages for 2 hours. But one time I was coming to the interview and I was waiting in the hall 30 minutes. I text to the person, to recruiter, and asking, well, I'm here. Maybe something goes wrong. And she told me, no, wait. Okay, I'm sitting 1 hour. I'm texting her. She told me, oh, sorry, we are busy, but we soon will be free. I said, okay. And I was sitting 2 hours. And in the end, she told me, or maybe even, I don't know actually, how could I think I just need that job that I was thinking such a long time, because it really takes definitely not less than 2 hours. And when she comes to me, she told that it's a stress test. How long can I wait? But honestly, I couldn't understand how they do check my stress by what I'm waiting for. Like, for example, I should waiting for at work tasks, or what I should waiting for 2 hours, just waste my time and do nothing. What they checking? And yes, it was strange. As you say, tricky questions. It's just strange.
Yeah. Very, very strange. I've never heard of a test like that before.
Yeah.
I don't think. Did you get that job or no?
No, actually, here was so I passed the first interview, and then I had the interview with the owner, and I passed the interview with them. But I rejected not because of the strange stress test, but only because I got a better proposal from another company. And now, when I describe you this, I understand. Maybe that's good that I didn't join the strange company.
Yeah. I would say, yeah, you definitely got lucky. You avoided maybe a bad situation there.
Yes, because it really was strange.
Yeah, I've never heard of that before.
So do I. Even I'm a recruiter. I usually face this different situation every day, but it was something new even for me. Okay, Gaby, I wanted to say thank you for sharing all of this knowledge, and I was so curious to speak with you, and I just take a lot of your time. Thank you for that. Okay, thank you for that. It was nice to see you and speak with you. And I don't know, I wish you the best students. I wish you the best progress, because you are awesome. I really like all your videos. I'm sharing with my friends, and yes, I really like everything what you do. I'm sure.
Thank you so much. If you ever want to come back to a meetup group and study English, you know where to find me. But you should focus on French maybe for a while.
Yes, since December at least, yes, I will try, because it will be around 3 months, and it will be level A1 and A2, I guess, during 3 months.
It will be great, I'm sure.
Thank you for your time. It was nice to see you, nice to meet you.
Yes,
you should have a nice day.
You too. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.